I don't know how long we're gonna be.
Word.
Yep, yep.
So yeah, man. So yeah, let's just hop right into it. And welcome everybody to episode 6 of Soul Chat. I am honored to have one of the most talented producers, period, in the game right now, man. Homie,
I'm all right.
how you doing?
I'm good, man. How you? And thank you for having me on the platform too, man. It's a dope show you got, man.
Yo, appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, yo, take that. You better take that compliment. You one of the top producers in the game, period, man.
Nah, I mean I appreciate the praise. I got a lot of work to do though, you know. So I'm very modest. I mean, obviously. So I appreciate. I take the compliments though. Thank you.
Yeah, it's definitely well deserved, man. I first started hearing from you on Battle Lab and then on Overlord Radio, and I was like, "Who the hell is this?" It was like nothing I ever heard before, man. For real.
No, thank you. It's funny too because I just recently started kind of putting myself out there like that. At the start of Session In and Overlord Radio, like I'm a bit of a recluse. Like I don't really show my face. I don't get out there enough as much as I should. So y'all caught me at the right time, basically.
Back.
Um, you know what I mean?
All right. So yeah, let's talk about the origin story. Not only production, but when did music in general become something that you kind of needed in your life? Hold on. I don't think I can't hear you.
It's my mic. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you now.
Okay. Yeah, music always kind of been around the family. My grandfather played instruments. He was in my family's from the South, so he was in the Zydeco band. He played like accordion and stuff. When I was a kid, I had like a baby accordion and shit like that. My cousin was always heavily in the church. I was an altar boy, believe it or not. But my cousin played keys in the church. He played piano. Um, so yeah, music's on my bad. Getting a call. Yeah, music's always been a constant thing. I never picked up keys early like that. I was always just curious about it. But my mom's was always listening to like reggae, classical music. A lot of 80s music was around. My pops is kind of like the culprit of that. He would DJ back in the day around the Bay Area. So, he was heavily into funk, East Bay funk, Cameo. He was into like Heat Wave, Confunction, Funkadelic, Parliament, all that kind of stuff was always in the house.
Right.
But yeah, with me with hip hop, hip hop was the new thing. I was born in 1990, so I kind of caught it as it was transitioning to the mainstream. I used to sit at the TV, order videos, music videos. They had this show called The Box. I don't know if y'all remember The Box,
Yeah.
but I used to sit and order and watch. I would watch music videos all day. Just sit at the TV and I'll, beg my mom let me put $1 in so I could watch one of my favorite joints, one of my songs. So yeah, just always, man, since I was a kid.
That's dope. Kind of sounds similar to me because like I live with my grandparents too. My grandfather didn't want me going nowhere, so he
Yeah,
had me in the room next to him, and that's literally all I did with my little brother. We would just sit there and watch music videos like on
yeah,
VH1 all day. So
yep,
that's dope, man. But I know like at some point there's a transition where you're more interested in the instrumentation. So when did that
yeah.
was that always something that you were into, or was that something that like kind of developed over time?
It developed over time. Um, it was a little in and out of my throughout my life. The home. So early on, like I used to go to the homie's house down the street. He used to have like a Casio keyboard. Like he was making beats and doing stuff. I was like messing around with him doing that kind of stuff. but it never fully grabbed me at the time. I had to be, I want to say, 8 or 9 or 10, somewhere around that time. Um, and then, going into like the 2000s, going into high school is when I started picking up production. Um, you know, as everybody in high school, you form a clique. I was rapping. I started off as a rapper,
Oh,
um, and I wanted to make beats, to rap on. So that became the thing. Like, I had Fruity Loops, like a lot of other producers, and we would make beats. I would go to my homie's house. His dad was a gospel singer, so he had like the whole setup in his garage, microphone, everything, and all the equipment we needed. So we would just make beats. Everybody would meet at his house. We would pick the best beats to rap on. We would all write and we would all record and lay our verses down. And that was around, I want to say 2004, 2005. I'm in high school.
yeah.
But I still didn't take production that serious. You know what I'm saying? Like it was something missing. And then that's when I got into like sampling. My pops handed me down his records from when he was DJing. Like it was a stack of records that was always in the closet. I'm like, Pops, what you doing with these? Like, let me get these. I still have them to this day. But I kind of went down that wormhole. I pieced it together. I'm like, oh, because every time I would hear something, it would sound different. With what's going on in the background. I'm like, yo, that don't sound like what's going on the radio. So I gravitated to that more, which is how I started digging. So I've been digging for a little over 10 years now. As
Mm.
you see, I got all the records in the back. This is just like a small portion of the collection. But yeah, so I went down that wormhole, and I mean, I'm here. I never look back, you know?
That's that's so crazy because hearing stuff from your story, and I'm like, yeah, sounds like me. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
my pops was a DJ. He wasn't like he wasn't anything like national, or like he was like the local DJ around, but like
right,
literally like he had a room like dedicated to records, and
right,
like
right.
whole room full of records. I'm still waiting for him to pass them over because he ain't doing nothing with them right now. So I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
but but yeah, man, that's amazing, bro. Like, so I know. All right, so obviously now you're trying to make beats because you want to be able to rap over your stuff. So,
Mhm.
is there anyone that you listen to, uh, where you kind of started like getting your own style from, or was it just like I'm gonna just make what feels good to me?
At the time, it was just I'm gonna make what feels good to me. Um, I was never big on like when I was growing up. I was never big on like linear notes. I mean, I knew I would read the back, but I would never look for like the producer, so to speak. Um, and it was a weird thing. But I was always interested in the beat, which was crazy. Um, so I mean, I just got into this mode. I think I transitioned. I think just I guess being inspired by myself by actually starting to dig back and listen to people like getting the Wendadilla, and I was listening to a lot of Q-Tip at the time, a lot of Tribe stuff, Madlib, Dr. Dre, just a lot of the who's. Um, so yeah, just hearing and really for me, what started me going down that path was, I mean, hearing Dilla. Just hearing what he was capable of doing, I was like, yo, I want to be able to do that.
Yeah,
I didn't know that type of music was, I heard him, coming up as a kid, but I didn't really connect the dots. So I'm like, oh, I have to go back. I'm like, oh, he did, he was part of Slum Village, or he did this Janet Jackson, What You Got Till It's Gone, or he worked with Q-Tip, or he Busta Rhymes. Like, I mean, earlier I was listening to Busta and didn't know that he was doing a lot of the production. You know what I'm saying? So I started, connecting the dots and things like that. So that really inspired me to become or turn into what I'm doing now. Just, I guess, how he would go out of his way to be different. I mean, that always stuck with me. I was always like that as a kid. Like, I never liked to follow what other people were doing. So that stuck out to me in his production. Which I guess I apply to what I do now, is not trying to stand out, because you don't have to try. It's just naturally in me to, you know, kind of go to the left when everybody is on the right. You know what I mean? So,
That's what's up, man. So, so when did you when did it click in your head that like production is something that could really go somewhere with you? Because like you said, you started rapping. So
mhm.
when was the transition to where it was like, you know what, this production thing is really something that I feel can take me places.
um, man, that took a while because it was never like that. I was always creating for the pure joy of, you know, creating. And even still, if I didn't, if none of this shit was going on, I would still be making music for myself first and foremost. That I think that went on for about like 5 years. I would say when I went down the wormhole, I was just making beats in my room by myself. Like I wasn't playing for nobody. You know, I thought they were the worst shit in the world. I'm like, nah. I'm like, you know, I got to get better at
But
what I'm doing before I transition and I kind of expose myself as an artist. But one of my homies came over the crib. This had to be, when was this? I want to say 2015, maybe 2016. And you know, I was a sneaker collector before. You know, I was into getting SBs and, you know, Jordans, retros and stuff. So I would trade him and sell him shoes. He came over. He seen I had a bunch of records in my room. He's like, "Yo, what you doing with all these records?" I'm like, you know, shit, I'm making beats. I cut on my MPC. I had bought a 3000. So I played him some shit, and he was blown away. He was like, "Man, like this is dope. Like I'm gonna tell the homie about you." Next day, I got my man GQ, who was on Jamla. He comes to the house the next day. You
wow,
know, I had knew about him. I heard about him, you know, throughout the town, but you know, I never officially met him. So he was like, nah. He was like, man, look. He's like, you real talented, man. Like, you know, let's go to the studio. So I unplug my equipment. I bring my MPC, big ass MPC. I'm thinking we're gonna make, you know, record and make records and all that kind of shit, and none of that shit happened. So still, I didn't get discouraged. You know, it was just a learning curve for me. Just, you know, I think maybe I was a little overzealous. But just understanding like that it's a process. It doesn't happen that fast. You know, I thought it happened that fast.
yeah,
So I'm glad I didn't let that take away from the pure joy of creation. You see what I'm saying?
yeah,
And worrying about like all these other moving factors happening for me. Even though it wasn't happening that fast, I still stuck with it. You know what I'm saying? He was like, nah, nah, you dope. Like I want you to be a part of the, you know, the fold. So I'm gonna keep in touch with you. You know, I didn't hear from him for about 6 months. And then he calls me. He's like, yo, we got a studio. Um, so this is how I met Zenon. So I pull up to the studio. Zenon was a videographer. He was doing film and sound. And it was me and two other producers, but Z was like, nah, I make beats too. So then we all started, you know, clicking, and we had like a little production squad or whatever. We were working under Q, and then that's how the stuff kind of got all set into play. Um, and like I said, I didn't start taking it serious still till probably what, the past 2 years, 3 years. So
wow.
you know what I mean? So it's been a long journey for me, man. Like to get here, to get to this point. Yeah. If that answers your question, I hope that answers the question.
Oh, nah, definitely, man. Because like I think we all, I think especially like as producers who are trying to get to that level, we all come to that point where we start realizing like, all right, like, now to this next level, and it's
Hmm.
happening as quick as we did to get to this part. You know?
Yeah.
So it's that's where the real love and the real like passion for like sticks in because like you said you ain't hear from GQ for like 6 months, and it's,
Yeah.
in that 6 months you could have been like, all right, well, fuck it, I'm done.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, but
But
that's dope, man. And now, like you're in the fold, like you said, you met your boy Zenon, and now things are starting to push for you. Like you're on that thing with house shoes, like
yeah.
that's bro, like you're really like on the precipice of like something major, bro.
Thank you, man. Yeah, like I said, it's just been a very long process, and I kind of had to sit and reflect on that. I got to test press the other day. I was just sitting listening to it, like, man, this has been like a 10-year thing, like all into this record, like this one record, like this one moment. So, I'm excited. A little nervous, but I'm excited to see like kind of what happens after all this stuff goes down.
Yeah, man. Um, so like I said, we got like when I first heard from you, like it was from Battle Lab
Hmm.
flop, but like how was that like your first real like I'm gonna be putting out my music, or you know what I mean, like
Oh, nah, I've been putting stuff out maybe for the past couple years. I put out a cassette. I got some in the garage. I don't have them in here, but I put out like some cassettes. My first like beat tape, official beat tape. We did like some CDs and stuff like that. Bandcamp release. Just kind of hand in hand. I was like, passing out tapes like, homies would pull up and cop a tape. And I did like a couple remix series. I was working with, a lot of artists under the Jamla umbrella at the time. Doing some stuff with Ruben, with the Young Cat, with Q, of course, and the newest signee, Ian Kelly. Well,
mm,
not the newest, but one of the latest. I met Swank and Draft early, before they were signed and all of that. They were just kind of hanging around the studio.
wow,
Um, and and yeah, so I was doing a few things, but I think Session N put me out there in the digital world. It wasn't nothing I was doing online. I guess I wasn't doing a lot of battles or anything like that. Until like, the Beat Conductors thing I got wind of by Kelsey, and then doing like the Ski Beast challenges and stuff like that. So all that battle stuff online is like recent. I mean, I did maybe like one local battle, but I wouldn't even call it a battle like that. It was real light, but it was a cool experience. So but mostly just local stuff, getting around, doing gigs, um, you know, and yeah, traveling back and forth to the East Coast every now and then. That's about it.
that's wild, man. How has it been like? How has it been like working, like being in the fold with Jamla?
It's dope, man. It's just cool that they embrace me. Um, and really, I mean, they appreciate, especially like I just talked to my man Cash today, but he appreciates that I kind of just stuck with my guns and I didn't get discouraged. Um, Man, going around them cats is very intimidating. Like, you got Crisis, you got not Knife, you got Cash in his own right as a beast, E Jones, like all these cats in the studio just banging out, playing crazy shit, and you just surrounded by it. It just made me, it made me hungry. A lot of I call it the fly mentality, like you or the bug mentality. You know how bugs, when they see a light, they get attracted to it, like,
Yeah,
and they move toward. Like, that was me. Like, I never get discouraged when I hear some dope shit. I'm always like, damn, like that was ill. Like, how can I get inspired by that and do my thing? Never really. I don't know. A lot of, how it is when people with producers, they always kind of peeking over their shoulder at you and looking at what you're doing. But man, like, that's inspiration. You shouldn't get discouraged by hearing something dope. That should push you to be a better producer, beat maker, or whatever. So I took that challenge. Um, and yeah, that's kind of like what hell. It's kind of iron sharpen iron. You know what I mean?
right.
So that's I just stuck with it.
Was there any moment that you had dealing with them that was like a oh shit?
Nah, not really. Because I mean, it's for me, it's just always consistent. It's just like, just work and just work. Everything else will kind of fall into place. I think we always look at things like, oh, we're supposed to arrive somewhere, or we this happened, and so there should be a result from that. It's like, nah, you just continue on the path, continue on the journey.
Right.
They might say, oh, that was dope, that beat you sent was dope, or this, I heard this song you did, or whatever, this shit is dope, or this is coming out, or whatever. But man, even through all of that, I'm still head down, just working. That's always my mentality.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man. And that's crazy to hear that like it just now you're just not recently being in like producer like challenges and showcases and stuff like because a lot of producers um they attribute like the showcases and the battles to like them getting that next opportunity. But for you, first, like you kind of, it was more a counter, and that led to like one dot to another dot to another dot, and then
Yeah.
and now you're starting to like after everything is situated, now you're starting to get into that showcase challenge mode.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically. Yeah, I did it in reverse. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
that's got to make like doing those challenges a lot more fun because it's not like you're doing it really to be known or anything like that. You're really
No.
because you love the idea of the challenge.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not doing it for any kind of reputation or recognition or nothing like that. Like I'm just participating. That's it.
Yeah,
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people like, talk about the battles and stuff I do. I don't necessarily make battle beats. They might come off like that to sound hard or sound crazy, but I've incorporated that into what I do, recently as of doing battles and stuff like that. But in the beginning, nah, that was never my goal. Man, it's just like, man, we stuck in the house, man. Like, we ain't got shit to do, so I might as well, participate and do, all this shit that it's a lot of shit going on online, man. So
that's
yeah.
so. When it comes to production, like when you start, like let's say it's a blank canvas and you're getting ready to start making a beat. Like, is there anything that you look to for a particular inspiration, or is there anything that like what's your getting into the groove? I guess you would say.
It varies. It depends. Some days, I'll work on drums all day, like doing programming and doing drums and stuff. That always gets me going, like finding new pockets and stuff. Uh, Man, always just becoming a listener again. I think, excuse me, sometimes we get in this mode of work, 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 and we lose sight of like actually like appreciating music. Like for the flip challenges, like the micro chop stuff. Shout out to Gino too, by the way.
Or,
Man, like the Jones Girls, the Run to Flip, the Mint Condition, the Nautilus stuff. Like, man, I would go get the record and just like Patrice Rushen. You remind me, I would just listen to the record for like 20 minutes, and actually get that feeling. Like, damn, this song is dope. Like, this is, that I always look for that feeling when I'm looking for samples or when I'm working. Like, I'm looking for something to hit me, and it might not always hit me initially, but that feeling like when you dig in and you get a new record or you listening to a sample and that moment comes. It's like, oh, there it is.
right.
I'm always looking to get that. It's like a high, like you're always trying to chase. I'm always looking for
Yeah,
that. You know what I'm saying? So
that's
yeah.
that is definitely like when you find that moment that you find the sample and it clicks. It's like
Whew.
it's like eyes get big. You're like you start moving around everything.
Yeah.
You can't get to it fast enough.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm always like searching and trying to get back to that moment. It's hard though, cause man, there's just so much shit out there, so much music and a lot of samples. You just start hearing, the similar themes and things from records too, man. So, I try and treat it like, how am I feeling for the week? Like I might be like angry this week. I might make like some grimy shit. I might make like some Griselda sounding shit, or I might be happy. I might make some up tempo, like, soulful like stuff, some cheerful stuff. It just depends on how I feel for the day or for the week or whatever.
Right. Nice, man. And you also have a drum kit that's out. Yo,
Yeah.
yeah.
The
What was the inspiration behind you doing that? Like, cause
uh well, I mean, the homie's been telling me to do it, but the reason I dropped that shit on the new year was because I've been procrastinating last year. I literally made probably I've had kits sitting on my computer for the longest. and I'm always like, man, they're not ready, they're not done, or I gotta add this, I gotta add that, and I'm like, you know what? Like I'm just gonna make one and put it out. So I made that from scratch, the same day, the same morning.
Really?
Um, yeah, it took me about 4 hours, 5 hours. But I had the little collage I did, and I, put the, I put it in Photoshop and made a little logo. But man, I did all that in one day and put it up, and I got very good reception. So that just taught me not to overthink when working on stuff like that. And then plus, like everybody, I guess, knows me for drums and stuff too. So I mean, that was kind of like the inspiration for that because people have been asking me for drum kits for a while now. So
Right.
um,
I,
it's yeah.
I definitely bought it. I definitely used.
Oh, thank you.
You also offer, like, if you want to get lessons from you as far as like making beats and stuff and drums, and that,
Yeah.
that's dope.
Um,
And it's like
yeah.
it's already like giving back, you know.
Yeah, I do programming lessons. It's nothing crazy. Just fundamental stuff in Zoom. I've done like a handful of sessions. Not consistent as I would like, but it's cool just to offer that to people if they have the time. So hit me up if y'all need that.
Because you're you're already you're already pushing the community forward. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have the talent and you're just keeping it. You have the talent. And
Yeah,
you
yeah,
expand it.
yeah, yeah. Thank you. I mean, yeah, I try to get back a little bit. I mean, it doesn't hurt for me to like give off some sauce or some secrets or whatever you want to call it. Just cause like even though you got the field kit, it's still you. You got to program. You got to make the beats. So
Right.
um, yeah. So yeah, definitely. I agree. I agree with that.
Overlord asks, when's the next drum kit coming out?
Oh, it's already done.
Ah,
I've been working with my man. Please check him out. It's called Wax Cartel. He just opened up. My man Synopsis. He's a producer for Cooley High.
right.
He just launched his sound design company last year. He's got some dope sample packs too. But I'm gonna be releasing a kit through him. I just got the artwork back. Just planning a release date. So probably gonna be sometime in March. Um,
What's up, man?
yeah.
Well, everybody in the chat, you heard it here first.
Yeah. Oh, let me know too what people are saying in the chat because my chat froze because somebody called me, so I can't see anything at all.
But definitely,
Yeah.
whenever a question comes up in the chat, I usually just stop what I'm saying and ask the question anyways.
Okay. Yeah. 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 Because I can't see shit. It's just like what happened to Maestro the other weekend.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I can't see the numbers stopped all that. So
Overlord said, you need that soundtrack challenge.
the soundtrack challenge. I mean, shit. I mean, Ski got it covered. He got. I'm cool, man. Ski's all over that.
So as moving forward, like, is there anyone that in particular, it could be producer or artist, that you would love to like kind of like a bucket list collab or a bucket list like session for you?
Uh. Not really, man. To be honest, I can't really think of anybody like off the top of my head. Man, it's this one chick though that's real dope. That I got wind of. I think it was on Overlord show. Brittany Carter.
Right.
Brittany Carter's real dope. I've been seeing her. They got this dude in L.A. King Thurs, I think his name is. He's pretty dope too. Um, I can't really think of anybody else off the top of my head though.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's,
But I mean, Kumba, shit, Kumba, man,
yo, Kuma's
yeah,
a problem.
Kumbaya is ridiculous. I'm gonna just say that now.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to get the joints out. We got a couple joints in the tank right now. So, and then also too, y'all heard it's another exclusive for y'all. I'm doing a project with GQ. That's gonna be coming out. Him and Knife dropping something, and then we're gonna come out right after that.
That's crazy, man. Congrats.
Yeah, yeah. Just on the low. You know what I'm saying?
They do like everybody be doing in those showcases, like, yo, phones off, phones off.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's what's up, man. Congratulations on that.
Yeah, thank you. We still figuring that one out. We still recording and stuff.
All right. So yeah, so as far as your career goes, like where do you see yourself, like let's say like 5 years from now, like where do you see yourself being the same way, or do you see yourself like, probably in that upper echelon? Because me personally, and I know a lot of other people can like attest to this, like I think like within 5 years we're gonna be saying you're one of the top producers in the game, period.
Yeah.
So
Um.
do you see the same for yourself, or like?
I mean, if I continue to keep doing what I'm doing, I sure, I guess. You know, I think it'll be dope just to get out there, get a different audience, get a different ear on my music. It was funny. I was talking to my homie the other day, my man, tall black guy, and he was just saying like, "Yo," he was like, "You got to understand, like, everybody," and he was jokingly saying it, but I kind of felt it. He's like, "Man, everybody can't rhyme on a soundtrack beat." And he says that because a lot of times what happens is with production, like production will outshine an artist
Right.
if they're not ready to do, if they can't hear the song or they don't know how to approach it or attack it properly. That's just like if you get a beat from Knots, that shit could be intimidating if you hear it. You know what I'm saying? If you don't know what to do with it, because it is so open. Um, but yeah, to answer your question, I could see myself being a little out there more. Hopefully, get more work. And also too, I've been trying to dive into this whole sound design thing too. I've been working on the sample kit, sample pack, or whatever. I don't necessarily like play. I'm not trained or whatever, but I just use my ear. Yeah, I've heard a little bit of it. I've seen some stuff on the Overlord show. I've played a few joints. I did a joint with Crisis that I sent in. That's pretty crazy. Um, but that lane is kind of like where I could see myself going with the sound because I'm already doing drum kits and I've always wanted to brand myself outside of Soundtrack like an entity almost. So
Okay.
definitely that'll definitely be in the works too within the next year or 2 years or so.
Nice.
Yeah.
Overlord said that a lot of industry producers would be scared of soundtrack.
A lot are right now. I'm
I'll
not I'm not I'm
go.
not tooting my horn or nothing like that. But cats tell me to fuck off quite a bit, quite a lot.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's low key. That's like a badge of honor.
it is, man. But it's like, yo, man, I keep telling cats, man, I just consistently just try and stay in my lane and do what I've been doing. Um, I never try and chase anything. I never try and do anything on purpose. Like I'm not purposely trying to beat you over the head with a beat. It's just like that's just me. That's how I felt for today.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm just trying to keep that innocence within it. You know what I mean? Because I know how that is. Once you start getting names and stuff, you can get in your head about music, and that could kind of take the fun out of it. So I'm trying to keep that innocence, throughout this whole journey.
Right. Has there ever been a situation for you where it was like you kind of realized like, okay, like this is the other side that everybody talks about, as far as like
Mm,
the business goes.
not really, to be honest. I think it's because I'm in the driver's seat, so I don't really see it like that or feel that kind of way.
Right.
I'm just kind of moseying along and kind of doing what I naturally do. And it's picking up and it's gaining new attention from people and opening people's ears and eyes to me, which is cool. But I'm gonna just continuously just be me and do what I've been doing.
That's just you got.
Yeah,
You got like such a like like a humbleness about you, which is like very confident. It's a confident humble. You know what I mean?
yeah,
We just like, I'm gonna just like great, but I'm gonna still do it anyway.
yeah. I mean that because that's how I feel. Like I don't know, man. I just care about the music too much, man. Like all the other shit that comes with it, like the labels and the perception, I could give a shit less. I'll be honest. I care about what that shit sound like when you press play. You know what I'm saying? Like that's all I've ever cared about. I don't care who did the beat, who name on the beat. I don't give a fuck about none of that, dog. Like press play. At the end of the day, like that's gonna speak. You know, that's gonna tell you what you need to know. So yeah, I've always that's how I've always been. I'm a show improved person. You know, I don't like to talk a lot. I don't say a lot. You know, this is me talking. This is talking too much for me right now. You know what I'm saying? But but yeah, man, I just like to show improve. That's it.
Dope. Like, well, yeah. If anybody in the chat got questions for Soundtrack, please like drop them in the chat, and I'll definitely ask. Shout out to SP Soul Prophet, Queez Brink, Eddie, Overlord. Overlord Radios means Kelsey's on. What up, Kelsey?
Hey,
Guys are all these guys are monsters.
all the people's in here. Appreciate y'all for pulling up on me.
Oh, here we go. We got we are the beat. Shout out to y'all in the chat, man. They asked, did you start in that one?
Repeat, run that back to me. You were kind of skipping.
Oh, we are the beats asked if did you start using the MPC one?
No, it's still in the box right here. I haven't tested it. Man, I'm so stubborn. I'm so like, if something is working for me, I'm the type. I'll ride till the wheels fall off. I don't really, stray off the path too much. I do want to try it eventually, but I haven't got there yet. You know, I'm a little slow, so I get to it.
So yeah, man, that's definitely like got it. That it, that everybody say you got it. Like you got
Yeah, thank you.
yeah. Overlord asks, what about the move?
Oh, the Poly D. No, I haven't hooked the Poly D up because I don't have a lot of space in my in the garage, man. I'm trying to figure out. I need to go get a stand or something temporary so I could just set it up and play with it. I haven't really got to set that up yet, so I really want to redo the whole shit, all that shit, the studio y'all see. I wanna revamp it so I can add new little toys and stuff in there because it's cramped, man. I got too many fucking records, man. Like it's way too much shit in there.
Are you going to? You said talking about expanding the brand Soundtrack. Are you gonna do anything as far as beanies or like do anything more than that, like a shirt or?
Yeah, I'll do some shirts and stuff. And I just did the beanies because I was doing the flips and everybody, I started getting the name Beanie Track and all that shit. My
Word.
homie my homie actually gave me that name, man, which is funny as hell. Like every time I would sit at the my homie OG Jaren, I would sit at the console, working, and he like, there go that man. He got the beanie on today. What's gonna happen? I don't know what's gonna happen today. It was a joke. It was like an inside joke, but it became a thing. But yeah, I might put out some merch, man. That's never really been my thing. But I'll do it for the folks, for the people.
Nice, man. Well, yo, now we get to the staple of the show, if you will.
All right.
We're gonna do over under. So I'm gonna ask you a question. You're gonna give me who overrated and underrated.
Okay.
All right. So as first question, I always ask, who do you feel is the most overrated producer of all time,
Mm-hmm.
and who is the most underrated?
Okay.
And this is
And I
personal preference.
okay. And now I was gonna say too. I have like multiple answers for these two because I couldn't decide on one. So I'm gonna throw a few out.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
All right. All right.
Go
So overrated. I know you guys talk about Swiss a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've heard Puff Daddy. Has anybody said Puff Daddy?
Nah, nobody.
I'm gonna go with Puffy.
That's a great answer.
Just you know what I'm saying? Like just cause the shit he was doing was dope, but man, he was just taking other people's hits. And if you want to add somebody else in that category, we could add DJ Khaled too. Cause he's doing the same thing Puffy was doing back in the day. You know what I'm saying?
Right?
So
Even producing those tracks?
yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that's my answer.
That's why. Yeah, that's those two are like those are kind of like I'm surprised nobody said that. You know,
It's so obvious, dog. Like nobody said it. I was like, yo, wait a minute. I'm like, nobody said Puffy. Like, come on now, that shit is too obvious. Like, cause people were like hating on him with the whole bad boy thing and what he was doing. Like, niggas didn't like that. You know, everybody was raw. It was raw. It was hardcore and shit. And I came in the middle of that, like seeing it in the shiny suits, seeing the videos, and I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. But it's like, nigga. But then I'll go put on like Talib Kweli and High Tech, you know, Reflection Eternal, and I'm like, oh no, this different. Like this. I'm like, nah, the blast. I'm like, nah,
yeah,
yeah, this.
that's different for real.
You know what I'm saying? It's like oranges and apples, you
Right.
know. So yeah.
So who you have for underrated?
Okay, let's see. I got a few. I was gonna say Q-Tip, but I think Blackheart said Q-Tip. Q-Tip is very underrated though.
Very.
Like a lot of all the tribe shit. I mean, the Uma stuff with Dilla.
Mm-hmm.
Man, he's got some joints with Mobb Deep, like
The Renaissance.
Nas. Yeah, like that One Love beat is crazy to me. Like,
Right.
so we gonna leave Q-Tip out. No ID.
Right.
No ID is very, very fucking underrated, and I'm gonna tell you why. Like, you gotta understand, he's from the same city as Kanye. You know, he kind of brought up Kanye, and Kanye kind of took the light and shot past No ID. He talks about it in interviews a lot too. That he did an interview with Guru that was dope. You know, he was like, man, I never got discouraged though. Like, you know, he always figured his time was come, but he was doing records, man. You know, he was on a Blueprint too with Jay, and then he ended up doing 444.
Right.
Like, so yeah, a No ID for me, very dope. And then who else I got? I got Black Milk.
Black
Black Milk. Yo,
Black be underrated. He doesn't
yo.
get the flowers he deserves at all.
Ah, man, that dude's crazy, man. Like he's like easily one of my early inspirations. Aside from Dilla, like that was so close. Him, like Kareem Riggins, you know, that whole circle, bro. Like, yeah, the sound of the city, the early stuff, that when he switched and did the Tronic shit, like,
Right.
and then he does the 365, which is like live instrumentation. Like he was kind of trying to go down that Dilla path, you know. But he's so versatile though. Like, and people don't give him credit.
That's the thing. Like he flows. Like he can flow any situation.
Yeah.
So and it's dope no matter what. That's wild. Well, you definitely got everybody in the chat agreeing with you. So
Yeah.
no controversy.
All right. Cool.
Speaking of No ID, though, this leads to the next question, because one of the beats that he did is often brought up as overrated. So my
Okay.
view is most overrated beat of all time and most underrated beat of all time.
What's the beat? People say DOA.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. I kind of went in another bag for the overrated stuff.
Okay.
You know, just because I think the song was like super influential to me. I put A Milli by Lil Wayne.
Mm.
That, like, I used to fucking hate that beat. And everybody would like go so crazy over that song. I'm like, yo, it's so boring. It's so simple. Like, why do y'all think? Why?
Yeah.
I'm like, this is not the best Lil Wayne joint that I've heard.
It's got like 40 remixes.
Man, so that was one of them. Another one for me was a little bit off, but Kick Push by Lupe.
Really?
Yeah, I thought that was a little overrated. I'm not gonna lie. And I love Lupe.
Oh, I actually love that beat.
See, so let's talk about it. You know, let's stir the pot a little bit. Like, I felt like that. I thought it was cool, but I thought it was just super commercial. And versus like everything else he had, like he had like American Terrorist. He with Jay, he had the cool, like the cool. That beat is crazy. I think Kanye did that. Yeah, and just the food and liquor joint, like man, he has so much other great shit on that album for that one to kind of overshadow everything.
Wow, that's wild, man. Because like thinking about anything else that was out at that time, and like when that came out, it was like so different.
Yeah, it was. I mean, and that was around the time like Drake was out too. So, you had like Best I Ever Had. It was like the sing-songy, like kind of soft,
Yeah,
kind of soft, mellow rap vibey stuff, It was cool in the moment. Now that I look better, like I listened to it, but now that I think back, I'm like, nah. I'm like, compared to what else they have in their catalog, I was like, nah.
right. Well, Eddie, and so does my wife. Pressure is one of the hardest beats ever, and that's on that.
Yes. Oof. Yo, see, I forgot about that joint. That song is incredible.
So,
So
so on the flip side of that, what do you think is probably the most underrated beat?
I was talking about this song. I don't know if Kelsey in the chat, I was talking about this song with him. Man, Swagger Like Us with Jay and Kanye.
Nice.
That's a dope ass beat.
That is, yeah. I like.
It's super simple. It's very dope. Like, and I don't even think I need to talk about it that much. Man, a personal favorite for me though. It's a little off, but man, Mr. Me Too by the Clips.
Yeah,
That beat's
that's
hard.
dope. That beat is dope.
Yeah, that shit, man. I used to play that beat out. It's so simple, and for real to go there and get in that bag, like that dude he's a whole nother animal.
So let's talk about this for a second because we have a comment
Okay.
from Art NG who says Slum Village Selfish. For me, that's an overrated track, especially with everything else on the album.
Uh, yeah, yeah, no. I mean, I get where he's coming from. Yeah. And I think that was, like I said, this goes back to the Lupe, the kick push thing. There was a moment where everybody was trying to go commercial. That song was very commercial, and it allowed them to kind of get ears from a different audience. And it was done by Kanye, who was kind of taking over at that time. He was doing a lot of mainstream boom bap stuff, which is a whole nother fucking conversation. As dope as Kanye is, I love Kanye too, but it was a time where that because I feel like a lot of the Volume 2 stuff didn't get a lot of burn. Like you got Climax, I know they did a video for that, but yeah, so much other shit besides that track that could have got some burn and some recognition. So I agree with that. I do.
So let's talk about that for a second. Like,
Hmm.
how do you feel about like people who have like that underground love, right? And then because even for perfect example, Black Eyed Peas, right? When they
Yeah,
came out, nothing like what they are now.
yeah, absolutely.
So, but now they get that mainstream popularity. Now it's like it's a completely different thing, and they kind of turn their back to what real fans are like expecting from them.
Yeah.
Like how do you feel about that? Because there are a couple of people who like stay true to the culture, um, but once they started getting that popularity again, like then their whole style switches up.
Man, it wasn't even the popularity. They started getting that bag.
Right.
They started going for that bag. I mean, like I said, Kanye was doing it. A lot of other people do it too. Drake. I mean, as dope as Drake is, like man, Drake went for that bag. You know. I don't know, man. I feel like a lot of people start off like that, and I feel like for you to cut through, sometimes you have to do that. If you stay a little too true, it hurts you. Um, But for me, I mean, I can't, if I don't feel it in my heart, I'm not going to do it. Other people think differently. Other people adapt. They kind of see, you know, they see the culture for what it is, and they get what they can out of it and get in, and then they kind of just forget about it. You know, I mean, shit, I've heard a lot of people say Kanye kind of raped the culture. You know, and that because he came in on some boom bap shit, but look what he's doing now. It's totally opposite
Yeah,
of how he came in. Because a lot of his early stuff I was digging. I mean, it was a lot of it was very heavily it was heavily influenced by Dilla, but you know, he just abandoned that whole idea.
completely.
You know, completely. Like, man, fuck all this shit that got me started and got me my fame and recognition. He went a different route. So yeah, I mean, you can't have both. You can't. I mean, you can stay true and break through. I mean, look at artists like Rhapsody.
Right.
You know, and but even with that, I think even Eve was a little stretch, like for her trying to break into the mainstream. You know,
Yeah,
I think she went a little too far away from what actually got her here. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking forward to hear like what they do on the new album. So yeah, yeah, but basically, yeah, you can't have both. You can't. If you want to break that threshold, you got to kind of give up something,
right.
and that sucks.
That definitely sucks because it's the culture that brought you to the dance. You know.
Yeah. It's just like, yeah, just to turn your back on it and say, all right, y'all, I'm good now. Fuck y'all. Thank you very much. It's like, I don't really agree with that. But it happens.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why, like, I appreciate guys like House Shoes. I appreciate guys like Ninth Wonder
Yeah.
who got to the top of the top, worked with everybody that everyone wants to work with, but still kind of remain to themselves. Like, they grew a niche. Like even Dre like Dr. Dre to a certain extent. Like
Yeah.
the Primos, like when you want what you do, like people come to you because they know you're gonna give them that sound. It's not
Yeah.
commercialized. It's not what everyone else is doing. It's
Yeah.
that sound. That's why like people say it's such an honor to work with a Primo or to work with a Knife because they're looking for that particular sound, and no one else is really doing that because, like you said, as soon as they get here, then it's like, all right, bye, and I'm gonna go
Yeah.
through what's getting me the money.
Yeah.
That's sad, but
It's the name of the game, man.
crazy. So, all right, now we got another going back to over under. I would say, what is the most overrated? What is the most overrated? I guess it kind of coincides with beat, but to you, what is the flip like a flip that you were like, I heard, let's say like a Just Blaze is flipping Rick James, and you're like,
Mm.
word, all right, this is gonna be dope, and then you hear it like, there wasn't all that. Like, what's one? What song
Huh.
kind of does that for you?
That's a good ass question. I got to think about that one. Who did a flip? I don't know. Well, I mean, a lot of people are. I'll say this: a lot of people are just looping stuff now, like looping hits and stuff nowadays. Like, in this decade, I haven't really heard anything too crazy that somebody has attempted to where I was like, nah, that ain't it. I got to think about that question.
Right. Or is there anything on the flip side of that? Is there anything that like you heard that you wasn't kind of like, all right, I heard someone's working on something, and then you hear and you're like, oh shit, like I didn't think that was gonna turn like that. Was there any like one of those like, cause like especially with you, right? Like when I'm listening to like Overlord Radio, I'm listening to Session In. Shout out to Battle Lab, they in the chat too.
Okay.
Plus in the chat, shout out to Mint. But like I'll hear like a sample that you do, and I'm like, all right, how is he gonna flip this? You know?
Hmm.
And then you flip it, and I'm like, oh shit. Was there anyone? It could be mainstream, it could be underground, it could be in Overlord Radio, like or Session In. Like, is there any sample you heard where you're like, all right, let's hear how this is going, and then you hear it, and you're like, fuck, like that's wild.
Yes, a few. I can't name the beats, but I'll just name a few cats. I know Devine is a guy that I look towards here, and he does that. He hits you with those off kilter flips. Shit, my man Mint's crazy too. Smokes
Right.
Smokes will hit you with some shit. Um,
Speaking, not to cut you off, but when Donnell Smokes brought in sending he's sending a joint to the recap show for Overlord Radio, which
mhm.
flip of the sample that they sent for everyone to flip.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah.
I did not hear that coming at all.
Man, I never know what to expect when Smokes press play. I just buckle up and I'm strapped in. I'm ready for the ride, like, cause I know it's gonna be something obnoxious.
Right.
Uh, yeah, but yeah, that's just the name of food. I can't. Oh, as far as the flips go, like, I don't hear too many other crazy flips unless I'm missing something.
Uh,
But
Advanced Instinct Music said not flipping, watching me rock.
oh, yo, not yeah, Knots is crazy on flips too. I can't forget about him. That dude, yeah. He's very inspiring with the flips. Man, you know who got some crazy flips, but he don't do it as much, man? Crisis. Crisis played me a Janet Jackson escapade flip, and that shit blew my fucking mind. I'm like, nah. I always tell him, I'm like, yo, you gotta come and play that on the show. Even he did another flip too. It was a Prince flip. I forget what's the joint? Oh, I want to be your lover. Oh, yo,
Really?
I gotta find that beat on Instagram. He posted it a long ass time ago. That flip is crazy. He can do that shit, but he don't. He hasn't been doing it lately. Like, yeah, he kind of inspired me to get into that bag with the flips, like the way he would deconstruct and maneuver shit and move shit around.
Right.
But yeah, him and Knots is incredible with the flips though.
That's what's up, man. So now we got another. I guess you could call it a staple of the show. It kind of just started maybe like 2 episodes ago.
Okay.
We got fantasy round.
Okay.
So I'm you're in a studio, right? You got a session going on right now. Um, this is whoever you want, doesn't matter. Give me a rapper and a singer to make a new track. Who is it produced by? Who's engineering it? And what label is it coming out
Okay. I got a little crazy combo. Already kind of like premeditated this shit.
on? Okay.
Um, I got. I know Anderson Paak did it recently, but I got Kendrick in the studio featuring Nate Dogg, um, and also featuring Notorious B.I.G. So Kendrick, B.I.G.,
Biggie,
Nate Dogg on the hook,
right?
uh, Mad Lib on the beat,
Oh
um, mixed by Bob Power.
wow!
And I mean, just for shits and giggles, I didn't put a label down, but I guess it's coming out on Death Row.
That's very West Coast. You got Kendrick featuring Biggie and Nate Dogg, produced by Madlib, mixed by Bob Powers, and it's coming out on Death Row.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Yeah, that's what I came up with.
That's wild, man. All right, so on the flip side, you got a singer that's coming up with a song. He's a rapper for a feature.
Uh,
Same situation.
Man, I like Ari Lennox a lot.
Yes.
I'm gonna say Ari Lennox. Um, just to throw a rapper out, man, my man Nipsey, Ari Lennox with Nipsey, that would be kind of crazy.
Yeah. And to be,
Um,
that sounds like a no-brainer too. Like if you live.
yeah, Yeah. Shit produced by. Let's see. Shit. Since they got good history, shit. Let's go. Produced by Knife.
Right.
Um. Let's see. Mixed by. Let's get Dave Cooley in here. Mixed by Dave Cooley. If y'all don't know Dave Cooley, he fucking mixed donuts.
Right.
I would like to hear that. And not a label. I don't know. Let's see. Uh, what label? Oh, Raucous. Let's put him on Raucous.
Ooh. Ari Lennox and Nipsey, produced by Knife, mixed by Dave Cooley, and on Raucous Records. That's yeah. That sounds very raucous.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. That's enough.
Just for shits and giggles.
Right. So yeah. Get ready to wrap up a little bit here. You actually have a tape that's coming out soon.
Oh, what is that?
I said as we get ready to wrap up, now you have a tape that's coming out soon.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be debuting on Street Corner Music.
Nice.
The tape is called And Then There Was Light. ATT what WL ATTWL. Actually, if y'all want to see the cover,
Oh,
got the
okay.
got the cover right here.
That's dope.
Yeah, my man Cartel did this cover. His name is Daniel Lent. So
That's
uh,
fire, man.
if y'all could see that, yeah, exclusive. Y'all getting too many exclusives, man. But basically, the whole concept of the title, it kind of hit me. What is it? I think it was Peach Instrumentals 2.
Mm-hmm.
He had an intro with this lady talking. It's actually a sample from David Axelrod. It's like the chick's talking and she's like, "Oh, on the third day, God said," and she was just going down the list, and then she says, God said, and then there was light. I heard that in my head. I was thinking of titles, and that stuck with me. Um, so yeah, that's the idea of the introduction for me. I mean, as simple as somebody like turning on the light switch, or you being introduced to something, opening kind of like your mind, opening your palette up a little bit. Like I want people, I want to have that effect on people with my music. Um, to kind of like, cause that's how Dilla kind of caught me. Um, it was kind of like, oh shit, like I can see clear now. Like the lights is on. Like, that's kind of like the message I want to have or kind of like how I want people to feel when they hear my shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I came up with the title.
Definitely. That's what's up, for real.
Yeah. So
And plus, that looks like the wild records we shot for.
exactly. There you go. Yeah, because I want you to find it. I want you to find it digging, and you like, oh man, this cover is crazy. So it's got to be something crazy on it.
Right. That's like
Uh,
that's always been the cue. Like if it looks too chill, ain't nothing.
nah, it ain't nothing going on. But there are some sleepers out there. But for the most part, diggers 101, man. If the cover's crazy, it's probably something crazy on there.
Right.
But yeah, that joint is all ready to go. We looking at April for that. Early April. Probably gonna announce in March, but y'all heard it first.
Nice. That's gonna be digital and vinyl.
Yep, digital and vinyl. So we did like 500 copies. We got 200 colored, limited edition color vinyl for y'all. Just a heads up for y'all if y'all want to get that. I think he's doing pre-orders, so yeah, make sure when that pre-order go ahead and cop that.
Nice, man. Definitely, I'll definitely let people know once I find out when it is. I'll spread the word, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Right. Well, yo, man, Sndtrak. I appreciate you coming on. Appreciate like telling story. Like I'm learning everything. It's like I told you before. I was like, yo, I'm hyped for this because like before before this interview, like I just knew the beats. You know what I mean? Now I know like
Right.
the story behind the beats. I kind of know the person better. So it's like,
Yeah.
so this was definitely dope, man. For real.
Hey, no, I appreciate you for having me on this platform, man. It's dope. I like what you're doing.
Yeah, man. Trying. I'm this, and that's exactly what this platform is for. It's trying to get people to see the producer like instead of just the beats. Like, oh yeah, he just makes great beats, but like let's get to know the person a little bit because
Yeah.
there's definitely a person behind there, and the story is crazy. Like your story is like so like one dot happens and then it connects to another one. It connects to another one. It's just so crazy to see how like seamless it went. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically, it is pretty. I'll have to sit and look back at, at the timeline myself, because I think as like, creatives or artists or producers, we never like actually look back at how far we've came. We always look forward, like where we gotta go and what we gotta do. But like, nah, man, embrace that shit. Like, give yourself a pat on the back, for your accomplishments and where you've gotten. And, basically, you know, I guess everything happens for a reason, I'm looking at that more clearly now. Like even me and you, me and everybody, me and Ova, me and Kelsey, everybody on Battle Lab, like man, it's a blessing, man. Like just to being around good people, like that appreciate you and appreciate what you do, and just want to see you grow and develop, and want to see you win. That's big for me, man. So salute to everybody. You know.
Word. That's very well said. And like I told you before, and like I'm pretty sure a lot of people in this chat have told you, like we see nothing but legendary status for you in the future, man.
Man, thank you.
Shout out to Men who's mentioned it. Big yikes in the building.
Oh man.
So
Look.
yeah, and this was episode 6 of I was gonna say of Overlord Radio. This is episode 6 of Soul Chat with Sndtrak. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, Sndtrak, for agreeing to do this. Next week we got Jimmy Kendricks in the building, so I'm gonna be chatting it up with him, and I'm gonna try to get some Jay-Z stories.
Nice. Nice. That's dope.
So yo, you have a great rest of your night. Everybody in the chat, have a great rest of your night. God bless, and we'll check you next time.
Peace.
Peace.